and friends and neighbors, or shall I say this afternoon.
Welcome back to the Steelers franchise on Madden 22. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. This is likely to be the last episode of this franchise series. It's been a good run. We've gone 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl championships, and 3 AFC championships. We're going to take a look at the year-end awards in this one. The MVP of the league goes to Stephen Davis. I believe that's the QB who took over for Tom Brady whenever he retired, or I guess was let go from the Buccaneers roster. They went 11-6, and he must have played really well in the process. Coach of the year, again, we get shafted. We don't even get any recognition here, but nonetheless, I'm not super surprised because we weren't quite as good from a win-loss perspective this year as we would have hoped. Grant Crawford, 5th on the AFC list of Player of the Year offensively. TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year. Good for him. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Ramon Smith, with Ben Richardson finishing right behind him, and he missed a lot of time this year due to injury, so that was pretty impressive. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Keontae Sapp of the Cleveland Browns, and we've got George Russell at least making the top 10 in the voting there. QB was Pat Mahomes, with Crawford finishing 3rd. Best running back was Nick Chubb, and Benny Snell finishing 3rd in some pretty good company there. Best wideout was Brendan Barnett for the Chiefs. We may have already looked at some of these, but these names seem familiar. There's Deontay Johnson finishing 4th in voting there. Ronnie Stanley gets Offensive Lineman of the Year. TJ Watt, Defensive Lineman of the Year. Bradley Chubb gets the Best Linebacker. Where is Devin Bush finishing just 9th on that list? A little bit of a disappointment. Best DB is Bryce Hall of the 1-16 New York Jets. Best kicker, William Henry. Who really cares, though? We'll look at the NFC just out of curiosity. It's Davis, Offensive Player of the Year. Chase Young, Defensive Player of the Year. Gabe Driver, Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Seattle Seahawks. Terrell Hightower, Defensive Player of the Year for the 2-15 Rams. Best QB, Stephen Davis. Best running back, Christian McCaffrey, still getting it done 5 years into this run. DK Metcalf, best wideout. Best O-lineman was Tristan Wirfs of the Buccaneers, who is a 99 overall, as you can see there. Chase Young, Defensive Lineman of the Year. Micah Parsons, best linebacker. Best DB is Grant Delpit, also for the Cowboys. And best kicker is Chase McLaughlin, also for the Cowboys. So that's that. Basically, all we're going to do now is simulate the Super Bowl and see who wins. Then, what I plan to do is basically just show you draft results and season results for, I'm not sure exactly how many seasons, but we'll try and do a few and just kind of try and figure out a good place to call this completely quits. You can see there the Titans absolutely destroyed the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl 42-14, and Tennessee wins their first Super Bowl title since moving to Nashville. So good for them. And actually, that might be their first as a franchise. But anyway, that's it for the 2025 season. And again, we'll show you draft recaps and season recaps moving forward. And that's pretty much it, because we don't really need to cover a whole lot else moving forward. So the 2025 draft is complete. Now, the one thing that I really wanted to try and get in this draft was a stud cornerback. I didn't really see the guy that I thought was a surefire hit. So we bailed on that strategy and went with Chris Knott, a tight end out of Penn State. He's got pretty good speed and physicals, so I was hoping for that hidden dev trait, and we got it. So I'm hoping that this guy could turn into a really good weapon for us in the passing game. So that was the strategy there. With Freiermuth and Moreau getting into their middle ages, probably good to start maybe looking ahead there. Then we drafted Joe Barton, a middle linebacker that's very, very well balanced. And he's got pretty good speed at a 90. I was hoping that maybe we could move this guy to the outside and have him be, for now, the backup outside linebacker behind, I guess, Jason McDonald or Highsmith. I can't remember. And that's sort of the plan. And that's that. Then we got Matt Duprey, a left guard who's only a 66, but we got a hidden dev trait here, which is awesome. So we got 2 out of 3 with hidden dev traits. Then we drafted a center who's a 70 overall and a hidden dev trait. So we traded away Philip Peralta for a second round pick, this one right here. And then the hope was that with this third round pick, we would basically just go get the best center on the board and replace Philip Peralta. So basically, I feel like we've upgraded because now we've got a pretty good linebacker, and we've got a center who is just going to sit there and improve until Kendrick Green is no longer with the team, and then by that time, this guy should be really good. Then we got this Ray Gilchrist, a corner, normal dev trait, 65 overall. He's not going to be that great, but we just wanted a body there to give us a little bit of depth. Same thing with these last couple of picks. Nothing earth-shattering there. But overall, I feel like a pretty good draft for us, and let's see how things shake loose in the 2026 season. So the 2026 regular season is in the books, and we're going to show you the stats for the year. Grant Crawford ended up having a pretty good season here, pushing 4,500 yards. He had 36 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions. He was sacked just 23 times on the year, and a QB rating of 102.7. On the ground, Benny Snell ended up with a respectable number of yards at 1,100, and 18 touchdowns is really good, but that yards per carry is well below where we would like it, but all in all, not a terrible season. Anthony McFarland contributing 5 TDs, but also just not getting a lot of yards per carry, so that was kind of the theme on the ground this year. Chase Claypool, a fantastic year, really stepping up as the number 1 receiver on this team as he goes for 1,145 yards on 90 catches and 8 touchdowns. Juju a nice year in the slot. Johnson a pretty good season. Freiermuth did okay. Moreau here, and then don't worry about this rookie Chris Knott because we still have him third on the depth chart, even though he was our first round pick. The bottom line is he's going to need a year or two to develop, and he's going to get it behind Moreau and Freiermuth for the time being. Devin Bush, a pretty decent season, 123 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and an interception. He led the team in tackles. Not a surprise there at the middle linebacker position. For sacks, TJ Watt, 21.5, and Zach Monroe had a baker's dozen, so a pretty good year for him. Quincy Shields had a few. Cam O'Neal had a few. I'm kind of disappointed that we don't see George Russell higher on this list. Just a half of a sack and 15 tackles. So I'm not sure if he got bumped down the depth chart or exactly what happened there, but not a very good season for him. As far as interceptions, Dante Jackson with 5, a pretty good year for him. McCrary playing pretty well in his third season with 4 interceptions. And then Oscar Beal, also his third year, and he has a trio of picks on the season. And then a couple of guys down here with a few. So we ended up having actually a bunch of interceptions on the year. A pretty good season defensively. Edward Evans, just 16 field goal attempts. He made 14 of them. Missed 1 extra point out of 60 tries on the year. And then Presley Harvin, a net average of 49 1/3 across 65 punts on the season. All in all, not that bad of a year for him either. And then the only other thing that I will mention in terms of how the regular season went is that we started off 2-5 and turned it around to barely squeak into the playoffs at 10-7, and we're going to be taking on the New England Patriots in the wild card game for the second year in a row. So I've done absolutely nothing in terms of managing the weekly strategy. I just decided to basically kind of set the depth chart. I'm not even like fine tuning the player upgrades. We're just going in and hitting upgrade all, and we basically simmed the first half of the season, did the player upgrades, simmed the second half of the season, and now here we are. What we'll do, at least for the playoffs, is advance week by week and just kind of see how things go at the tail end of each of these years moving forward. We lost 28-24, so our season is over. Contract is extended, and now you see here we have to fill some staff. So who moved on? We've got 438 staff points, so whoever we bring in is going to be an immediate exact replacement to whoever we lose. Why do I not see anything as far as retirements? That's weird. It doesn't show any staff moves, but it says that I need to fill a staff position. What are we missing here, guys? I don't see anything that we need because everybody is still here that has been here. Whatever. Not worried about it. Let's just go ahead and advance now through the end of the season. Let's go ahead, yeah, sim to off season. And then we'll jump in after the upcoming draft. And this is the moment where it hit me, actually shortly after I just cut off, is the moment where it hit me that I had not been doing any of the negotiations for re-signings throughout the season. And it came down to the end of the year, and nobody was like set to be re-signed. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to just basically go into the franchise settings, go to the league, and set everything to auto that we can. So like if we come down here, auto, what is this? Control week and draft advancement. Yeah, so basically everything is going to be set to auto. And that way, what I can do is just get in here and tell it to sim 10 years. And then what we'll do is go back and look and just see kind of where things ended up. Like how far out can I go? Sim to next season, sim 10 years. This is what we're going to do. So let's let this run, and then we will look back. Basically, it'll be 15 seasons worth of action for Evan Milligan, hopefully, and the Steelers. So we'll see how this goes, and then I will give you a recap, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the entire franchise series. All right, so here we are now. We've finished the 2025 season through simulation, and you remember when we had played, we beat the Patriots, simulated the next game against the Ravens, and actually lost. But when I reloaded the save file, we went back to my manual save, which was actually before the Patriots game. We ended up going on to win the AFC Championship again, but lost to the 49ers in the Super Bowl in that season. The next year, actually, we need to go the other direction. The Chiefs end up winning the Super Bowl over the Packers, 21-14. Lamar Jackson, MVP. Urban Meyer gets another Coach of the Year. Lamar Jackson, Offensive Player of the Year. Dalton Farrell, Defensive Player of the Year. Doug Durant, Offensive Rookie of the Year, a QB for the Titans. And Terrence Jackson, middle linebacker for the Titans, the Defensive Rookie of the Year. So a nice draft class there for Tennessee. Then in 2027, we lose in the Super Bowl by 3 points against the Falcons. So a tough one there. Deshaun Watson, MVP. Brian Flores, Coach of the Year for the Jets. Mahomes, Offensive Player of the Year. Brian Burns, Defensive. Devin Tapp, a rookie wideout for the Bears. gets the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then Hendricks, a linebacker for the Lions, gets the defensive nod. In 2028, it's the Washington football team winning their 4th Super Bowl championship, getting it done against the Chiefs, 28-25. Again, Mahomes up there. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. A QB for the Lions gets Offensive Rookie of the Year, and a linebacker for the Vikings gets the nod in that department. In 2029, the Chiefs still playing very good football. They win it this time over the Buccaneers, their 4th Super Bowl championship. And Lamar Jackson, another MVP. Nick Bosa, another Defensive Player of the Year. A rookie QB for the Dolphins gets Offensive Player of the Year, and a linebacker for the Lions gets it on the defensive side. 2030, it's the Ravens over the Rams, and Josh Allen getting MVP, but Lamar Jackson, again, Offensive Player of the Year. He's playing well. Urban Meyer continues to get Coach of the Year awards, but then they're obviously not doing a whole lot in the postseason because we haven't seen him at least in the playoffs or into the Super Bowl. Defensive Player of the Year is Brendan McCain, a left end for the Jaguars. Wide receiver Jamie Creighton for the Bengals gets Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive tackle J.R. Strong gets the Rookie of the Year award for Arizona. 2031, it's the Browns falling to the Rams, who win their 2nd Super Bowl championship. David Slater, that QB that, if I remember correctly, where was he? He was a rookie, so he's only a 3rd-year player, and in 2031, he's the MVP of the league, Offensive Player of the Year. Urban Meyer, another Coach of the Year award. Nick Bosa, another Defensive Player of the Year. Wide receiver John Ellerby for the Bears gets the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then a D tackle for the Steelers gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. 2032, the Ravens edge out the Falcons for another Super Bowl championship. The MVP is Ronald LaRubio of the Jets, a QB whose name we haven't seen before. Brian Flores, another Coach of the Year award. LaRubio is the Offensive Player of the Year. Thaddeus Simpson, Defensive Player of the Year for the Titans. Wayne Peck for the Washington football team, a QB, gets Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then left end Sergio Hanna for the Giants is the Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. The 2033 Super Bowl is the Cowboys winning their 7th Super Bowl title over the Ravens by a 16-14 final. Trayvon Nix, the MVP. Thomas Peters, the Coach of the Year for the Texans. Robert Adams, Defensive Player of the Year, with Nix getting the Offensive Player of the Year there. Halfback Jeremy Davis, the Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Rams. And then Kareem Booker, a D tackle for the Buccaneers, gets Defensive Player of the Year. Grant Crawford is now on the Texans, gets the MVP this year, but the Falcons end up winning the Super Bowl 24-21 over the Bills. The Falcons have had some success in this simulation. Offensive Player of the Year is Grant Crawford. Mike Vrabel, coaching the Giants now, gets Coach of the Year. Brendan McCain, Defensive Player of the Year for the Jaguars. I think he was a rookie just a couple seasons ago. Chris Harvey, wide receiver for the Packers, is Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Devontae Simmons, defensive tackle for the Ravens, the Defensive Player of the Year. And that is it. So those are the season recaps as far as Super Bowl champions and some of the key awards. What I want to do also is go back and look at stats and awards. And this is going to be a little bit interesting because what we're going to see is a team that's not necessarily mine anymore. There I am now, number 5 on the Hall of Fame Legacy Leaderboard status. This team has had a serious fall from grace as far as their overall potential, so we'll look at that in a second. Career wins among coaches in the game now. I'm still way down here. We've now fallen to 126 and 112. A 529 winning percentage, still an excellent playoff win percentage, but this team has not been very good the last several seasons. as what we will look at here when we go back to the main screen is our roster has just become absolute trash. I don't really know what happened to this team, but you see there a 74 overall. Our offense is a 73, which means we're basically among the absolute worst in the league. And if we go look at the roster, it's just it's pathetic. It really is heartbreaking. As good as we were and as loaded as we were, this team has just absolutely nosedived. Um, we've got a 7-year veteran at QB who's only a 75 overall. So we obviously failed to bring back Grant Crawford, and he goes on to win the NFL MVP elsewhere. Our running backs are terrible. We don't even have a fullback on the roster. Our wide receivers are now absolute trash. Our tight end is okay, but he's 31 years old. He's probably the best player on the offense. We've got a veteran, and I mean veteran, left tackle leading a freaking slew of other young but subpar left tackles. Left guard is not very good. Center is okay. Right guard, not very good. Right tackle is okay. But that's our offense. They're just not very good. And then Zach Monroe, long gone, and we're a far cry from the skill level that he gave us. Actually, that's TJ Watt's position, so that's even worse. Monroe gone here, and this guy isn't that bad, but still nowhere near the towers of terror that we had on flanking ends of the defensive line. Our defensive tackle, this McMichael guy, is actually pretty good, but we're just not that good as a team. Linebacker, not very good there. Middle linebacker is okay, but again, just kind of okay. The right outside linebacker is a guy that I would like to be a backup. Our cornerbacks are atrocious. Nobody over 78 on the entire roster. Free safety, 75. Strong safety, 75. We don't have a kicker. We don't have a punter. And we're just bad. We were next to last in the league this past season as far as the overall record. Would be picking second if we were to go ahead and move forward. But you talk about a team that was like well positioned to be a dynasty with some youth and a bunch of skill players that were extremely talented. And whenever I started simulating, it just all fell apart. So, the bottom line, it's kind of disappointing that this is how that exercise turned out because I kind of thought that they would do pretty well given how good this team was and we were doing a pretty decent job managing the cap, etc. But it just never shook loose the way we kind of anticipated that it might. But it's okay. This was a good run. I'm hoping that we can do an additional franchise next year when Madden 23 is released. I still got the Denver Broncos one going, so if you haven't caught up with that one, give it a look and keep up with that one as we continue that one moving forward. This has been fun. This team was really good. We had a lot of success in the 5 seasons that we played, and I appreciate you watching. If you have not done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?